We've got our fruit trees over here, transplanted fruit trees, raised beds, all waiting for the kids to come back. Filming now because it's been raining just a little bit. Doing a little rehab on some trees that were neglected. We got some little citrus trees and we got an avocado over there that you can see at the top of that dead material. So we're reviving it now in January 2021. Rained a little bit, and this is a very good collector. So it rained less than a quarter, and we got, I'm gonna estimate 210 gallons of water in that one. We got another one over there. So this is how we water our fruit trees. Winter time, so leaves are very bare and everything's getting energy together. Just rehabbing the soil a little around here. This soil above our fruit trees is all very compact, old, hard dirt. And we use a pitchfork here. We dig some deep holes in here, just loosen the soil a little. We'll put a little bit of fertilizer up in here and water heavily. We'll cover all that with kind of a mix of compost and worm castings. This soil down here around the tree is very healthy. And around there, we need to aerate this soil, put organic matter, some nutrients, mix in some of this native, this stuff is not all bad. It's very sandy, but not all bad. But once we get it loosened up, make sure we mulch it really well. So this soil being very healthy will help the nutrients travel down to the tree over time. And we're doing that. I'm doing that on all these trees. Pomegranate, peach, apple, avocado, and another citrus. But it's looking pretty beautiful. We're reviving the butterfly beds now. We let them die back last year a lot, just kind of to save water and everything, but we're getting it all brought back to life with rainwater. This is the raised bed that we're prepping for kids to plant in when they do come back. We're not doing all of them, but this one has been treated about a month ago. Was covered the existing dirt with compost, worm castings, and newspaper, black and white newspaper only. We would layer that in there, puncture holes in that newspaper, about 3 layers. Then we put a layer of leaves, then we put worm castings, compost, and then another layer of leaves. We let that sit a month. And then we've watered it twice a week. And then after that month, we came in with a different, more fall leaves, and we did about a 4-inch layer of those. And then in a couple of weeks, 3-4 weeks, we'll put some garden soil and compost over the top of this and let that just break down. So when the kids show up, they'll be able to plant. And we use rainwater. This is some rainwater that came from one of our barrels. So we use rainwater to water all of this and this kind of stuff. So we're kind of getting some transplants going so that when the kids come back, they can plant around the campus and maybe sell some little octopus cactus or something at one of their first sales. I think the kids will be happy to see that everything's pretty good shape. And you can see all the raised beds are just growing, and I think we're gonna have to do some sort of picking and put these out for everybody. The kumquats trees going off, kids love those. Now with this milkweed, we've actually had a little battle recently with little yellow aphids. They're right... Where are they? Where are they? There they are. See the little yellow aphids right there? So this tree was really, this little bush was struggling. And then we've got a little guy on here who eats them. Where is he? There he is. So what you do if you get that on your milkweed is you high pressure wash about half the plant. Don't wash the entire plant, but wash them off. Here's some more right here. You can see the little yellow aphids right down inside there. And so you wash off about half the plant one day, wait 2 days, you really spray it, and then you do the other half, and you kind of alternate, because you don't want to blow away all these bugs that eat them. So that's how you do it. And this tree is almost rid of them completely, so I'll spray them off at some point. This is the other raised bed that we are preparing for planting. And this one is even more of a lasagna layer. So what we did with this one is we took worm castings that included worms and put it a big 2 trayfuls throughout the bed. Then we covered that with a couple of layers of black and white newspaper, punctured holes in those. We put a lot of kind of not completely processed compost. Then we put a layer of leaves. Then we put a layer of thin, clean cardboard. Then we put garden soil, worm castings, compost, and then just a whole variety of random scrap, brown stuff. And we just keep it wet for the worms, because there's worms in there. And we just let it sit. And just rained a little last night. We'll check the soil. It's just absolutely perfect. Let me see if I can find any worms in here. No, but when you squeeze this, you see how it kind of holds together, but it's not just falling apart completely. So this is getting better. I don't have any worms in here though. That's okay. So pretty good soil actually. And we'll let that sit and we'll keep watering it. We'll probably add in more compost at some point. It does look like we've had a digger. So not much digging. I haven't seen many critters around, but definitely something was digging in there. Could have been a squirrel or a skunk or a possum or something. Mr. Nario's got his little corner here. He could tell us what he's growing over here. I think this is Brussels sprouts. Cool. Kids are gonna have a little cleanup to do on the few piles around. Here's the lemon tree, just finished producing. Probably produced about 50 lemons here in between November and January. And this tree was a little neglected last year in the spring when we couldn't get on campus, but had a little infestation with some aphids and ants that were working together to leach the tree. You can see some dead stuff inside. So it's going to be a cold week, so we'll prune out just some of the branches, not many, just a couple of branches out that are crisscrossing or definitely completely dead. We'll trim out a little bit of that, and we're getting into spring, so we're going to fertilize it with a little bit of fertilizer, a little bit of compost and worm castings, and get into the spring. As the kids know, this is the compost corner back here. We're not really composting much, just a little bit in each of these 3. This is where they do kitchen waste. So when they get the the vegetables and fruits and things from the cafeteria, they'll go into these 2 black bins, and then this is kind of a mixture of leaves and just a different way to compost. Put anything in there that we want, and then we have the roller composter that drains into a box, so we get leachate out of that box down there, dilute it with water, and then we use that to water our fruit trees and things. So there you go, it's all ready to go. One of my favorite parts of the garden is the cactus here. I don't know what it's called, but just weaving it through the fence, and I just think it's so cool.